So, I've watched an anime recently called Carole and Tuesday. This is solid. Good. You know, it's great. I've definitely rarely cried as much as I did watching this. In a good way. I would glowingly recommend it to everyone. What is it about? Two girls, an orphan misfit and a rich runaway, love music and decide to make a band together. That's it. It's pretty simple, but it's done damn well. What did I like? All the characters. Pretty much all of them were believable and likable. Only exception to that is Jerry, but that wasn't supposed to be like that. And the thing is, not everyone initially is believable and likable. Great example is Ertigan. He's an asshole, very self-absorbed and seems a bit misogynistic. Yet after a certain event, a different side of him is shown and he becomes one of my favorites. Contrary to being the type of character I always hate. Gus is also shown as an annoying drunk, yet over the course of a show he comes in a pinch, works hard and messes up a little. But that just gives him more believability. Also music. The thing about musical numbers in shows is, I usually skip them. Frequently they are cringy for lack of a better word. Here it's pretty versatile and interesting with, honestly, a special shout out to the main rival. Her songs seemed different every time, and even if I didn't always like them, her voice was damn great. Another thing I liked was how light-hearted the whole thing is. Now, the premise alone is already sounding like a setup for a wacky comedy adventure. And obviously there are things like Whiplash which are completely the opposite, but for the most part, the sort of underdog fighting to claw their way to the top is a simple, likable story which is always good. What did I dislike? So there's the thing. This sort of story this story was done before. Only with sports team, for example. A group of misfits get together, they always lose, but then they have this one last chance, and they put everything on the line, and of course they just barely make it, but they do make it. It's extremely predictable. That's the point. I could see every single plot point happen as soon as it was set up. A character appears, it's very obvious instantly what he's going to do, and what's going to happen to them in the story. And I was always right. For example, at a certain point a journalist came snooping around. Tuesday in particular has his interest, and in turn they start meeting often. Can you guess where it goes next? 3, 2, 1. He has a girlfriend and she sees him kissing her where they usually meet. They never talk again. They appear in the same place, but I don't think they ever interact after that. It's extremely formulaic. Tuesday just never interacts with that reporter again. The entire thing is set up like this. Angela is set up as a rival without even showing them interact at first. It's just two separate stories at first without any connection. And eventually, okay, count down again. Angela is a rival. Where does she end up in the end? 3, 2, 1. They end up singing together. Yeah, of course. I get what the hell's in my throat. Okay, there are a lot of steps in between, but every single one could be seen from the moment it comes up. Now, wherein lies the problem? It's predictable. Extremely so. But the question is, was I entertained? Did I like it anyway? Yes, and yes again. I loved the entire damn series and thought that it was extremely well done. I suppose if I were to compare it to something it would be a bit of a stretch, but it is similar to a big budget game. You know the story is going to be predictable, you know what is going to happen, but it's still fun and it's still enjoyable. Only with a game it's almost always worse. But I did say stretch. Here it's very much the same, and the fact that this has 6 writers speaks volumes as to what's up with this. They probably just sat in a boardroom, spitballing ideas, and then shaped them into the most finely tuned ones with the least amount of risk. All of this is then directed by a veteran director with some of the biggest heavy hitters out there. Also another director who I don't recognize, whatever. It's the director of Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy, and a few others which didn't get as much recognition. He pretty much can do no wrong, even if I hated Terror and Resonance. Still. So the entire thing is simple, cut and dry, emotional roller coaster on a straight track. It offers no frills, but plenty of heart and lovable dorks. Right, so I don't usually do this, but I also wrote some episodes, summaries, or thoughts, or whatever. Impressions. Just ignore those. Episode 1. I like this kind of futuristic but not too crazy kind of setting. Similar to Megalobox but less depressing. The visuals are good, smooth as butter. Probably a rotoscope because that kind of motion is difficult to nail otherwise. And man, the reactions these two girls have are great. Definitely amusing to follow them. Episode 2. I hate that cliché of a rich boy, girl are inept at everything. So the cleaning up ends up as a complete mess and makes zero sense how it got to that point. That was maybe funny pre-early 90s, after that I got tired of it. Also, I gotta say, the reaction isn't wholly believable. Picking off a runaway girl off the street, she wrecks your apartment and you don't even muster a fuck? Ugh. Fake. Definitely a very innocent kind of story. I personally would have liked at least some kind of conflict there. Aside from that, the manager, goddamn, that guy is definitely gonna end up my favorite character calling it. Episode 3. Gus is great, I was right. Thing is though, I totally expected something like this. Meeting a dude who's up above in his ivory tower who just uses women, and I totally expected something unsavory. Not full on not safe for work stuff obviously, but an extremely uncomfortable situation with touching involved. Thankfully he was just a bit of a creep instead. Honestly makes the story a little weaker, but I sure as hell don't wanna see that, so that's still a plus in my book. Episode 4. Holy crap, a robot watching Space Dandy. And even the asshole is redeemable. This series is definitely very lighthearted. Episode 5. Gus is up to his antics again, and Roddy is the one who comes through as always. Seriously, unsung hero. The anime should just be called Roddy and Cole, or something with how much he's contributing. Episode 6. Oh boy. Seeing them booed, and then that asshole just comes around, that's... I don't know, I don't show my emotions often, but goddamn, I would cheer until I lose my voice for them. Carole barely dodging, Tuesday taking a swig. Boy, oh boy, was it painful. But it just ended on everything looking up again. Honestly, I can predict everything that happens in an episode. Give me a setup and it's 100% obvious where it's gonna end up. But it sucks me in any way. Episode 7. Does that idea make sense? I mean, they already were a backup act and were entertaining a small club going to a talent show. Seems like a step down. I guess there is some marketing perspective there, but more publicity as a contestant. As far as I know, some people actually went on those, lost, and became a lot more popular. But I don't know. I suppose it's to set up a rivalry with the other chick. So, again, for the story it makes sense, I just don't like it. Too predictable. Episode 8. I feel so bad for OG Bulldog. Also, the funniest episode so far, and I'm gonna bet it's gonna stay that way. Metal grandpas and an opera rapper can't be beat. Also, that influencer dude. God damn, what a punchable guy. I just wanted to kick a shit out of him. Holy crap, is he infuriating. Episode 9. It was real? I thought it was some joke someone on the internet made, but that's a real thing? I don't know, maybe the vocals of this weren't... No. How did this get through? This can't be real, I'm gonna be honest, this wasn't funny as far as the show standards go. It's a bit childish and it's innocent, but this? A fucking bullshit motherfucker? It felt like a slap in the face. And then after slapping the person, that person just laughs at you saying, it's just a prank, bro. I'm not really offended as far as the language goes. I'm offended that they would go for such a shitty joke and an otherwise a cute and lighthearted story. This would be okay in Space Dandy, in Gintama, in Saiki Kuso. Here? Fucking bullshit, motherfucker. Hell, this has almost made me completely forgetting the creep. And man, what a creep. Holy crap. Sibel, whatever. It's like, if I ever meet someone like that, I'm pretty sure I'm punching them in the face. This kind of person would burn your house down just so they can rescue you. Almost likely fail because they are awful at everything. This person is making me so uncomfortable. 1421. That's the point in the episode. This is a serial killer. This is a confession booth and Sibel is confessing to wanting to kill young people. And what a great song. And I hate to admit this, but Angela definitely lost. An extremely generic pop song versus a lot more interesting performance by a freakish serial killer. What a crazy episode. Episode 10. Artigan lol. His reaction is priceless and I am so glad to meet Artigan. Yup, konnichiwa. But man, oh man, this judgment. GGK is way better. It's like it's shitty pop song versus something with more effort and merit. Personally weirded out by her, but that is just a better level of music. Piotr is still punchable as hell. Episode 11. Like that wasn't coming a billion miles away. Speaking of, coming a kilometer away just doesn't sound right. Weird, isn't it? Anyway, Erdogan. I think I'm kind of warming up to him. Someone stuck so far up their own ass is just amusing in a way, especially because he seems to be a butt of multiple jokes. Man, I feel like I was really surprised by the choice, because, well, it feels like a story could still work with him losing, and then that, I get emotional because of all that, but man, if that ending didn't feel heavy-handed, then I'm the Pope. Episode 12. It's like I've seen this happen in every single movie where the main character is an underdog. Boy oh boy is this predictable. Episode 13. Agents bickering and the duo being awkward. Edgy acting like a bitch while being unable to say what she really thinks. It's just so obvious she likes him, but she just has to act like she hates him. It's so endearing. Gosh, seriously, I feel like I'm putting on an old shirt. It's maybe a little dirty, has a hole or two, but god damn is it comfy. This is how this makes me feel. But okay, I went a bit off the rails near the end there. Ex-Murderer Santa is, okay, that's the one thing, that's the one time I was surprised. Episode 14. So many things, and all of them I've seen before. First, the girls are doing whiplash, when Angela is replicated by an AI. Crosscode. And then someone reveals themselves for who they really are. A special shout out to the pasty-ass white couple pretending to be Carole's parents. That's just hilarious. Episode 15. Have to say, not a fan of characters like that. The head in the clouds, speaking in riddles, well-connected and famous in the past, but secluded and isolated now. They're always the kind of characters who have dark secrets, like basement full of dead children, or mountains of dead fans harvested for organs, something like that. It's just always eerie for me with people like that. Something always feels unsettling and wrong. Still, I can kinda get the charisma there, and for the most part it comes from his Japanese voice. Koichi Yamadera is a name. Damn, that's a great voice. I'm sure he got the pants off some women with that voice alone. God, I'm starting to lose mine. Episode 16. Oh man, he made plenty of mistakes and fails, abandoned with nowhere to go. And everyone rallies around them. It's just so heartwarming. I hate it. Making me feel emotions. Give me a fart joke or something. I'm not crying, you're crying. Episode 17. Erdogan, just... lol. I kinda love him now. Also, I feel like a writer of this really has something against AI. Jesus Christ, 20 minutes in. Okay, okay, I love Erdogan. Episode 18. I pretty much just was shouting the entire time, "Go, girl, no!" God, it was so obvious where it was going. Thankfully he didn't use her for more than a story. And besides, it did feel like he was just being nice, and she pretty much made assumptions. Not really surprising that he would have someone already, but goddamn, it's a train wreck which is obvious from so far away. That stupid girl. Episode 19. I've gotta be honest, didn't like either song. If I had to choose which one I've enjoyed more, it would be Erdogan's one, with Angela. It's just, neither of those songs seem like something people come to festival for. Erdogan always feels like an opening act, which people skip going to the toilet or getting some food or something after he's done. Or maybe even during the act they come back and it's pretty much nothing missed. Carole on Tuesday, though, it's like a song sang to a small group of friends, and it's not really bad, but it's just, well, for one, it's got like 3 sentences of lyrics. For 2, it's quiet and small. It's like the opposite of orchestra music, where if it's insane enough, they use even guns for sound. Here it's just an acoustic sounding guitar and a couple of keys on the piano. Aside from that, the Stalker. I kinda like Tao being a badass, but it was extremely rushed. I would have liked if they did a bit of a cat and mouse thing for 2 or 3 episodes. That would have been pretty cool. Instead, it just instantly ends, and for whatever reason Tao didn't even flinch. I don't get exactly what happened. I assumed he removed control of the speakers to blare them both, but that ruptured the eardrums at least. And he seems fine. Okay, whatever. Episode 12.
Fooled ya, it's actually 20.
Oh man, so much going on. Okay, so everything was obvious as always, but, well, how it was done is what's important. A meeting with a friend, of course he'll come, but I don't know, acting so distant, I'm not seeing why. Maybe he was just trying to distance himself from her. Then Tao. Man, that guy is cool. I have my principles. I didn't sign up for this. And then he just gets arrested. And he stands tall and doesn't forget about Angela. That's respectful. when an arrest and talks about some dirty dealings. Of course it was obvious. Pick a scapegoat and arrest him. Of course it was a setup. Pick a random thing to rally around and cause it. Typical obvious evil politician. I just don't get how a woman like that would give birth to Tuesday. She doesn't have even a tiny bit of decency in her. And you... she's just a sweetheart. Both of them are. And the last thing, I assume it was a heart attack, and I gotta say, lol. My instant reaction in my head, call the amp. Oh yeah. Cause she shattered the phone. People don't have landlines now. Chances are there are no other phones in there. And I just couldn't help but laugh. Also, nobody knows how I feel. God, I must be jaded old man, because this also just gets a laugh out of me. Anyway, funny ends, and I mean, tragic. Yeah, tragic. Lol. Episode 21. I don't even have anything to say. This is all good. Although maybe Angelo is a little too fast for me. I feel like that sort of thing would happen way slower than that. The transition is rushed. But this thing she now has with Tower, and then Ezekiel pretty much confessing, and then them singing in the church, I love it all. This is too damn good. Episode 22. 3 dots. I wouldn't... There's so much to say, I couldn't possibly put it into words. Wow. I teared up. I got angry at the sloppy tone shift and redemption at the end, and I'm shocked again. I need a break. Episode 23. So, racism is still a thing. Future school. Anyway, this is all so bloody convenient. This entire episode is 100% set up for the next one, and, well, gotta say, that funeral, this is so relatable. I'm sure a whole lot of people out there had shitty parents, or guardians, or teachers, or anybody, and they did something that cannot be forgiven. But then they are gone. It's not as if the weight is lifted. It's as if the hate is gone, and in its place is just emptiness. This is what prompted Angel's spiral, of course, but heavy-handed, clean, easy. This is why I have problems with this show, with this entire show. I adore the flashes of brilliance, but this is a genius going mad with power, delivering a beautiful story, but doing it in a clumsy, lazy way. There's subtlety, but there's no subtlety, there's no nuisance. Episode 24. Yay, she cried, now she's all better, so let's all come together and sing. And then Gus just casually stands in front of cops with guns. Guess he's so calm cause he's white. Lol. Anyway, I love this song. The loose ends are tied up, Tu's mom is above this. Everything is wrapped with a bow. If this was any sappier, this would be illegal for diabetics. Screw it, I cried. There. I cried, I admit it. I cried at watching Carole on Tuesday. So, that was the thoughts about the episodes, and I'm gonna rest my throat now, because, God, I'm dying.